Welcome back to Burke Family 54 Comics. I am Steve, and in today's video, yes, we're still talking about C2E2, the drama, and Ultimate Fallout 4. Let's go. All right, I got my good friend Dave from Mark Spector Comics joining us today. What is going on, Dave?
Hey, what's going on, Steve? Thanks for having me on tonight.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. It feels like we just did one of these videos. If you guys don't know, Dave from Mark Spector Comics has his own YouTube channel. He's hovering right around 1,000 subscribers. He's almost there. We just did a video just like this about a week and a half ago or so. That was, I think it's doing pretty well on views. I want to say it's right around 2,000 views, right, Dave?
Yeah, I guess so.
If you guys want to
I stopped checking. I know it did well. I just haven't really been following. I know it's been obviously the huge hot topic for the last week and a half, and I'm kind of trying to just get over the whole situation.
For sure. Well, if you guys want to check out that video, make sure you guys hit the link in the description of this video to check out our C2E2 talk right at the beginning of the con and our thoughts on it and all of that. It's a pretty good video. We talked for about 20 minutes or so. Make sure you guys follow Dave over at Mark Spector Comics. He's almost at 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so this is probably our last video we're going to be doing on C2E2 just because, there's been so much drama about it, so much stuff come out about it, like a lot of stuff and a lot of arguments, a lot of negativity and all of that. But one of the biggest things that I wanted to touch on today outside of, the drama was really just the book in general, which is Ultimate Fallout 4, the Acetate facsimile edition by Clayton Crane. So basically what it was is it was a Clayton Crane trade dress edition that he did. I want to say it was back like late last year, and they reprinted like a facsimile cover of it, obviously, but they also did a acetate cover to go over the top of it to make it look like he's holding the American flag. And then on the back it says, "In God We Entrust," and there's some American flag on it, all of that. Honestly, for me, it was a book that I did want. I thought it was going to be pretty cool. I talked to some people about getting it. It was going for $85 at the con before all the craziness happened with all the influencers buying them up, a whole bunch of stacks on stacks and all of that before they raised their price to 100, and then they limited it to 2 per person. But since then, that book has gone kind of crazy, hasn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it's surprisingly, I don't know, still selling really well. There's been a lot of crazy high, sold listings. Don't really know whether or not those prices actually went through, if people actually paid. I don't think that's the case because I think eBay is under investigation right now with a lot of these sales. So I guess that's a topic for another day, because we don't know if any of these sales have gone through. I know a lot of like the lower sales, like, well, what do I mean lower? I mean like the $300, $400, $500, $600 sales have been going through as far as what I've been seeing, but I haven't seen them being relisted. So I'm assuming that it's gone through. I don't know. I'm not on the other end of the sale.
Right.
or the person buying it, so I couldn't really confirm that, but they haven't been relisting, so I don't know.
So our good friend Chip Gittler, the White Shadow, the guy that broke down the whole C2E2 drama from the beginning.
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last.
Outside of just Facebook posts, he was the guy on YouTube that broke it all down. Awesome guy. Make sure you guys check out Chip Gittler, White Shadow. Anyways, he had a listing for his raw copy because he bought a raw copy and a graded copy. And the raw copy he put on eBay because he wanted to donate the funds to Mission 22. And unfortunately, eBay pulled the ad stating that it was counterfeit. Now, he was not the only person to have his book pulled for counterfeit, and it feels like the community has decided this is not a book that they want anyone to own whatsoever. Everyone's marking everything as counterfeit, which I totally get because it's like, it's kind of a way to get back at Black Flag Comics, to get back at the resellers, influencers, however you want to call it, about hoarding all these books and driving up the price. It feels like there was definitely some shill bidding going on.
Oh yeah, yeah. There definitely were a ton of shill bidding just so that people couldn't actually sell the book and have them, relisted. And I know we saw um, a video the other day. I think it was Kyle's channel that he bought a copy for $25,300.
Oh,
And
promiscuous time traveler.
yeah, and obviously, and then he messaged he messaged the seller saying that the shipping was a little too much and the funds weren't really there at the time. So I'm sure there's many more examples of that just obviously haven't been brought to light, but people aren't paying it because they're trying to get back into
No.
selling it, try to make substantial amount of profit.
So we're going to be talking like a little bit about for the next 5-10 minutes about whether we believe this is a book to like invest in. Is it like a long-term spec thing? All of that stuff. We're going to be talking obviously about some of this drama as well. It feels like if you are putting this book up for auction, you are asking for trouble. Now, if you're doing the whole like buy it now, I think you're okay as long as you're
Yeah.
$400 to $700 range, because these prices, they're all over the place. I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit about the last 3 legit sales and some of the other sales as well. So the last 3, what I would consider legit sales, there was one for $425,
Okay.
one for $375, and another one for $425, and then a few others that were less than $500. That was a best offer accepted. I couldn't see it, but some of the other sales, I mean, we saw 800, 900, 2000. There was a 1750 sale. There were multiple, like I want to say like 4 or 5 sales between 23,000 and 25,000. So those are definitely some shill bidding going on. Those aren't people that are trying to drive up the price. Those are people that are trying to make sure that book doesn't get sold. I mean, and when I say that, like I talked about earlier, like if you're putting it up for auction, you are just asking for trouble, because right now on eBay, there are a whole bunch that are listed for buy it now between 400 and 1,000 or even more than that.
Mhm.
But like the lowest one is like 425 or 450. And then there's another one that's an auction that's already at 450. And that's just going to go crazy high and no one's going to pay for that. So the seller's just going to have to relist it. It definitely feels like shill bidding is still happening because people are trying to make sure this book doesn't get sold.
Right, right. So yeah, a lot of those sales, like I guess if you have a copy and you're trying to sell one, if you listed in between that price for the whatever $300 to $600 range, you'll likely sell it. But if you put it up for auction, then it's gonna get shill bid up, and
Absolutely.
you're not gonna sell it. You're just gonna end up having to relist it. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
If you're looking to buy this book, I mean, it's up to each individual person to decide how much they want to spend on a book. My suggestion would be to not overpay. Like I said, there are several already listed on there around 400, 425 if you're looking to buy that book. Now, there are others listed for 650, 750, 825, 1,500. I think there's even one listed at $6,666. I feel like but there's a bunch out there. So if you're looking to get that book, I mean, it's up to you to decide how much you want to pay for it. I don't personally feel like this is a book that's going to have long-term value or long-term spec value. It's always going to be one of those books that people talk about for years to come, like the Cerebus book and the Angry Ex-Girlfriend book. But I don't feel like I feel like there's some FOMO with that book now.
What's the Angry Ex-Girlfriend book?
You don't know that one?
No, I know the Cerebus book.
Okay, so this girl drew all over her boyfriend's ASM book. I can't even remember what number it is. I'll try to throw up a photo of it right now.
But that's like a one-off, though, right?
What's that?
That's like a one-off, right?
That's a one of a kind.
Okay.
And Donnie Cates and Jim Lee both tried to buy the book, and I think they eventually did sell it to Jim Lee. So that's a little bit different, but it still feels like those books are in a different stratosphere than just this reprint of an Ultimate Fallout 4. I don't know.
Yeah, because the
I'm
Cerebus.
to hear what you think. Do you think there's some spec value there, long-term value in this book, or no?
I was going to say the Cerebus one, even the knockoffs command some value nowadays. Obviously, that book came out when in early 80s, I think it was, or late 70s is when Cerebus came out. But there's a lot of good like knockoffs of
Yes, there
Cerebus,
are.
and they command, they command a good value because that book's tough to find, an actual original first print. Um, this book down the line, I don't honestly think is going to have the staying power. For the price that you're paying right now for these books, you can actually get a first print, not a 9.8, but you can get a 9.4. Like
Sure,
first
sure,
you can get a
9.6 even.
you can probably get a 9.6 if you're patient enough. You can probably get one, but a 9.4 actual first print, you can get one right now for $400 to $600. I just don't understand why are you going to buy a facsimile with an acetate cover for that price, if not more, when you can get the actual first print, which is the actual investment.
Yes, I mean,
Um,
that's exactly the point I was going to make. Why would you even think about getting a reprint with an acetate cover right now when you could theoretically get like the actual first print that's going to hold way more value over time? I mean, you think about whenever Miles Morales enters the MCU. I mean, that book, it's already super expensive in a 9.8, like 2,500 to 3,000. It's going to at least double, if not like triple, depending on how long term we're looking at. I mean,
yeah,
I definitely prefer the first print. I had the first print.
yeah.
I would prefer to have that over the facsimile edition, even though it's an interesting story and all that. I don't personally believe there's any.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can see is obviously it has an interesting story because as of right now, Marvel has not approved of this book. There's a lot of controversy in the community about this book, and people like controversy, and
They do.
controversy does draw up sales, whether you agree with it or not. And that's always good. Like whenever you hear books that get recalled for whatever reason, they do end up typically having some sort of inherent value down the road, but not always. And
Right, right.
I think this is one of those books that if you end up paying these prices now, you're going to end up regretting it down the road.
I agree. I agree. And this is not the only acetate cover that Black Flag Comics created.
Mhm.
There was supposed to be, and there was for a limited time at Boston Fan Expo, there was a Ghost Rider #1, Clayton Crane acetate
Yep.
edition, and there was a Deadpool Nerdy 30 taco cover.
Yep. I
Both
actually like
of
that. That was a pretty cool cover.
Yeah, actually, I really actually
I like that one.
I like that cover too. I did too. And then there was also a Venom 200 non-acetate, and all
Right.
three of those, I don't know what happened. I don't know if Marvel stepped in and told them not to sell it. I don't know if Black Flag Comics decided that they were done with the drama.
As of right now, I think it's still up in the air. We don't know.
We
We
don't.
don't
No
know
one
what
knows
actually
because
happened.
like they were being sold like to people because there are photos, and I'll throw up a photo right
Yeah,
now
privately. Yeah.
that was being sold to other people at the con, and there was a reseller that on a Facebook group that was able to purchase a handful of them.
Sure.
And I feel like those books, I mean, if no one else can get the rest of that run, let's say they had to eat it, because it feels like they probably will. Because based off my knowledge, Black Flag Comics was also selling some books to their Facebook group
Yep.
from someone pretty high up within the company to make up some of the funds. So I feel like they had to have gotten it pulled. That's just me speculating. That's who knows for sure. But I feel like if some of these books did get out there, then the Deadpool or the Ghost Rider, I feel like those books would almost be worth more because they'd be more rare. I don't know. What do you?
Yeah. I feel like if anything, those probably have the true value because you got some true scarcity there. We don't know what the print run was for those, but the fact that they couldn't actually sell them at the con, obviously behind the closed door deals that they were making, but
Right.
those I think would have some value down the road. This one in particular, well, obviously because of the big controversy, all these additional staples, this was not an actual like
No.
manufactured error. This
Right.
was like from the actual print. This was something that they created an acetate cover. They added additional staples, which is not like what the example CGC provided with the
Right.
Stray Dogs,
Right.
which the acetate cover was a first print from the actual publisher, manufactured that way with 2 staples on there. That's not the case with this book, and I think that's part of the reason why there's a lot of controversy, because these guys made this cover and put it on a facsimile book.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and
You
what's
know?
interesting is that like Two Brothers Comics pointed out that Stray Dogs acetate, there's nothing higher than a 9.8. And yet Black Flag Comics
Yeah,
showed up with 2.99s
that's
and a
right.
10. Two
And they
9.9s
did.
and a 10. And a couple 9.8s as well. And they were asking a pretty penny for those. They were asking quite a bit. But those were before CGC, and I'll try to throw a photo of this as well, put up on their website, on their, I want to say it was their CGC chat boards, saying that all future editions of that book would receive like a note under the bottom saying that it was attached with 2 extra staples and blah, 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 and all that stuff. So if you were able to get one of those 9.8s, 9.9s, or 10s before, it almost feels like those would probably be the only ones that I feel like would have any sort of value. What do you think?
And that causes additional controversy from CGC, because if you add staples to a book that did not come with those additional staples, even if you take out the staples or remove them or whatever the case may be, that would give you a qualified label.
I mean, CBCS
Yeah.
said it would be like a 7.0 if they sent it over.
Yeah,
there.
because it's not I don't understand, like, I don't fathom how you can get a 9.9 or a 10.0 or even a 9.8 when you're adding additional staples. That's considered perfect.
Right.
Perfect book. And there's obviously multiple imperfections.
Sure. Sure.
Never mind, regardless of the additional staples on there. So I don't know how you get that grade.
I don't know, but if you got that one of those 9.9s or 10s, even some of the 9.8s before they added that little thing underneath, which I thought CGC was getting rid of the notes, but that's a whole other topic. If
Yeah.
you got one of those, I feel like those, like I said, would be the only ones that'd be worth value. But they were asking a lot. Like I want to say $750 for the 9.8s, $1,250 for the 9.9s, and $2,500 for the 10.
And
That 10 would probably be the ghost. That'd be the one that you'd want to own, but still at $2,500. I mean, there's so many other bigger books that I'd rather
and
have.
it wasn't by coincidence that those other 2 books that they submitted to CGC also got 9.8s, 9.9s, and 110.
Yeah, it's interesting that happens because, like I said, none of the Stray Dogs got a 9.9 or 10.
No,
So
it's
there's a lot of
difficult.
speculation on how that happened.
I've seen people submit multiple 25 book batches and they never get 9.9s.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you get 3 different books, all come with 9.9s and 10.
Come on now.
It's a lot of
And they only graded like 8 to 10 of them.
they only 10. It was only 9 or 10 of them. That's it.
Yeah, and there's something fishy going on there.
Yeah,
There is something fishy going on there. Let us know in the comments section what you guys think about that, with CGC being able to get, or sorry, Black Flag Comics being able to get 2 9.9s and a 10 when you're only submitting 10 books. Let us know in the comment section about that for sure.
Yeah, those are like ghost numbers you're getting, and you're getting them in 3 different books.
Right. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, final verdict: do you think this Ultimate Fallout 4 reprint, acetate, facsimile edition is something that people should invest in or not?
No, buy the first print. Save yourself the hundreds of dollars that you're going to overpay for this book. If you don't have that first print money to get a 9.8, save up your money and buy the 9.8 or buy the first print, whatever grade you can afford. Don't buy a facsimile with an acetate cover. It's just a terrible investment. If you like the cover and you want the book, hey, that's fine. I have no problems with that. But as an investment, it's not an investment.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, if you're going to get that book, I mean, right now, don't overspend. If you're going to get it, if you're looking to buy it right now, don't overspend. Try to get it for the lowest price.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, like Dave said, I don't think it's a book to be investing in right now. I think it'd be a book that you'd want to wait about 6 months for, because I'm sure our buddy JP's budget collecting will tell us in a 6-month look back that this was a book that you should have held off that FOMO for and got it later at about half the value, because I could see in 6 months everyone's going to forget about it.
Yeah,
can be around
people
$200.
forget about it. They'll be on to the next thing, and the book will tank naturally, like every other spec book does.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, Dave from Mark Spector Comics, for joining me today, dude. This was
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And everyone, make sure you guys check out Mark Spector Comics. Like I said, he's very, very close to 1,000 subscribers. Let's try to get him there. Again, my name is Steve from Burke Family 54 Comics. And as always, go Cats.
Cowabunga. It's Morphin time.